So let's get right into it. If you've ever, even for a second, thought about starting a side hustle, you've probably hit a wall with one big, nagging question. How long is this actually going to take to work? It's the question that can keep you up at night, right? Well, today, we're going to cut through all the noise and get you a real answer.
I mean, you've seen this. Of course you have. Your social media feed is just packed with these kinds of posts. These gurus make it sound so incredibly easy, so lightning fast. And when you see something like that, a little part of you just has to wonder, wait, what am I doing wrong here?
Exactly. What is the real story behind that perfectly curated highlight reel? Because for pretty much everyone else, the journey looks nothing like a 60-day sprint to 10 grand. No, it's usually a lot slower, a whole lot messier, and honestly, way more confusing.
So look, if you're feeling that frustration right now, if you're feeling a little lost, let me just say that is a good sign. It really is. It means you're moving past the online fantasy and you're searching for a real, sustainable strategy. And that's exactly what we're going to figure out together. Okay, so the very first thing you have to understand is that the answer to how long really truly depends on the kind of path you decide to take. See, not all side hustles are created equal. We can actually break down almost every single one into three main types, or what I call the three hustle archetypes. And here they are. You've got your service-based hustles where you're trading your skills for cash, then there's product-based where you make something to sell, and finally audience-based where you build a community first and figure out the money part later. Each one of these has a totally different timeline and its own unique set of challenges.
Let's start with service-based. This is your freelance writer, your consultant, your graphic designer. This is, without a doubt, the fastest way to make your first dollar. Why? Because it's a direct exchange. You have a skill, and someone is willing to pay for your time to use that skill. The big challenge, though, you're trading time for money. And that means there's a hard limit on how much you can earn. There are only so many hours in a day.
Next up, product-based hustles. Think e-commerce stores, digital templates, maybe writing an ebook. This is the classic build it once, sell it 1,000 times model. The magic here is that it can scale, big time. But, and it's a big but, the trade-off is that you have to put in a ton of work up front. All that time, and sometimes money, goes in before you even see your very first sale. And number 3 is the audience-based hustle. This is your YouTuber, your newsletter writer, your Instagram influencer. With this one, you're not really selling anything directly at the start. Your entire job is to build a community and earn their attention. The long-term potential here is absolutely massive, but, and you knew this was coming, it is by far the longest, slowest path to actually making any money.
So now we've got our three archetypes down. But there's a second piece to this puzzle, and it's just as important. When you ask yourself, when is my side hustle gonna work? What do you actually mean by work? Because that one little word can mean a whole lot of different things. No, seriously, think about it for a second. What is your actual goal? Does working mean making your very first dollar? Is it earning enough to cover your phone bill every month? Or are you dreaming of replacing your entire 9-to-5 income? The destination you pick is going to completely change the length of the journey. And this is so key. Success isn't just one thing. It's a whole spectrum of milestones. You know, getting that very first dollar from a stranger on the internet, that's a huge psychological win. But it's a very different goal than generating a consistent profit that can actually replace your day job. So, here's the crucial takeaway. Your personal timeline isn't just about the type of hustle you pick. It's about where your hustle type and your definition of success meet. It's simple, really. A bigger, more ambitious goal is just going to take longer to get to. All right, let's put it all together. We've got our hustle types and we've got our definitions of success. So now, finally, we can start to map out some timelines that are actually grounded in reality. Let's move away from the social media hype and talk about what you can really expect. Okay, starting with that service hustle. Like we said, it's the fastest out of the gate. You could realistically land your first paying client within 1 to 3 months. Getting to a point where you have consistent income, enough to reliably cover a bill, that might take you around 6 months. And the big goal, full-time potential, you're probably looking at 1.5 years, maybe more, of really dedicated work. Now, let's look at the product hustle. See the shift? Just getting your product designed, built, and ready to launch could easily take 3 to 6 months of work. And you might not see your first steady, consistent sales for 6 months to a full year. And to get to that level of significant, scalable profit, well, you need to be prepared for a journey of 2 years, maybe even longer.
And finally, the audience hustle. This is the marathon of marathons. The first 6 to 12 months, That's often just about building a community, showing up consistently, with potentially $0 to show for it. Your first real revenue might not even appear until after the 1-year mark. And to build that into a substantial, life-changing income stream, we are talking 3 years or more. This is the long game.
So, after hearing all that, what do you do with this information? How do you take these ideas and build your own personal roadmap, a realistic plan you can actually follow without getting discouraged?
Well, it really just comes down to this simple 3-step personal equation. First, get really honest with yourself and choose your archetype. Which path are you on? Second, define what working actually means to you right now. Is it that first sale? Is it $500 a month? And third, use the timelines we just walked through to set a realistic first milestone for yourself. And this right here is why knowing your timeline is so powerful. It changes patience from just being a nice personality trait into a core part of your strategy. Think about it. When you know the journey is supposed to take 18 months, you don't give up in month 3 because you think you're failing. Persistence becomes part of the plan itself. So you see, the real question isn't just how long will it take. It's about knowing which path you're walking and what your destination is. You now have a map that filters out all the hype and shows you the real terrain ahead. The only question left is, where will you take that first step?